Welcome to Group Dates and Hot Takes. I'm Sampy.
I'm Christy.
Let's talk about Married at First Sight. Christy, we're inching ever closer to decision day here on Married at First Sight. How are you feeling about how things are going?
Well, it's a bit of a disaster at the moment for quite a few of our couples.
A lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people. It's a disaster.
Yeah, this is usually when things start to fall apart. When you have to live with someone.
Right, because now, I guess by the time this episode is over, we're at about, 17, 18 days of marriage?
I don't think it's... Well, did you see that on the screen?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess a little over 2 weeks.
Yeah, so things are progressing and spiraling, you could say, for certain people. Where do you want to start? Let's get into this juicy episode.
Let's start with Stasha and Nate.
Okay, well, hit me with it. Let's go.
Well, we learn Nate will be going to therapy so he can, quote, go deeper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so here's a question I have for you. This seems like it's a staple for the show where they bring in random family member to provide exposition?
Yes, / give advice the expert should be giving.
Well, you don't want to use the experts too much.
No, not when a marriage is on the line here. We definitely wouldn't want to use, people who have been trained to deal with this stuff.
No, so why are they not here? Are they just afraid of COVID, or
the age-old question?
Okay, so
it's like that every season.
That's a normal thing.
People are spiraling out of control, and the experts are nowhere to be found. Although they claim, yes, we have sessions with these people, you just don't see it on TV. But if that's true, why is everything such a disaster?
I don't know what to tell you, really. I felt weird inside because part of me doesn't want to like Nate because he just seems like there's just a lot going on there that seems a little like a lot of caution flags that have been going out. But I did really respect this segment with him. It seemed like he actually, like, that was a decision that he perhaps made more for himself, just kind of looking at the situation and how, basically how Stasha is able to have, like, the tools and the understanding to describe what's going on. And he's like, well, I don't know how to describe what's going on. So maybe I should learn how to do that, which I think is actually quite a good thing. So I was a little shocked because this whole process and this whole time it seemed like he's just like very reluctantly agreed to anything that he's done. So I'm glad that he has come to that realization, even though he's still kind of on the fence about like how I don't know, just the fact like he's like, well, I don't think I really have a hard shell, or it's not really like hard for me to share. But then he like kind of comes clean, which I think is positive if you're going to try to survive in this marriage. So yeah, there you go. Conversation with a friend.
I don't think we ever saw a conversation with Stasha and her friends. So we kind of jumped to their party.
Yeah, so this is another milestone for the show, right? Every couple gets to have a housewarming so that they can get grilled by their friends. I didn't realize that this was such a specific themed thing.
It's usually not themed. I'm not sure what happened this year.
Okay.
It's just usually like, oh, here's some food and here's our friends and maybe some games.
Yeah, because every couple had to go out there and have like a specific theme for their party.
That was loosely followed by the friends usually.
Yeah, so they had like it was like 70s, I guess.
Yeah, 70s party.
Both of them had afros, which that hairstyle suited Nate way more than whatever weird braid situation he typically has going on.
Yeah, I saw some comments alluding to that on Twitter as well.
Yeah. I don't know what... to each their own, but that hairstyle is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a little odd. It's trying to do too much at once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this party, how did you think things went?
It seems like the kid situation is a sticking point for them because Nate's like, well, she wants to have kids, but like I don't even know if she really wants that because she likes everything to be clean and kids are going to be super messy. And she's also a workaholic, so will she even have time?
Well, maybe he should take care of the kids he fathers.
You know, what a novel idea.
What a hot take. Yeah, it definitely, and I figured this all along, but he definitely has other reservations beyond just the like, oh, I really want to make $250K a year before I have kids. Like, it seems like there are other things that are maybe more of a concern to him, like the workaholic thing.
Yeah, because the money thing was just BS. Like, come on, you guys have a combined
income of $600
yeah,
bajillion dollars. Yeah.
But then Stasha wants kids pretty soon because she's already 37.
Yeah. She's like, I can't wait forever. Gotta start popping these things out. Which is, that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, a little bit of a mismatch there, although the biological clock doesn't stop ticking. So she might not be able to wait the 5 years Nate would prefer to wait.
Right. I mean, it is, it's not quite so cut and dried. It's like, oh my goodness, you've turned 40. Sorry.
No.
There's no hope for you. It just gets a little harder, maybe a little bit more risky the longer you wait. Plus then, like, I don't know how many people really actively want to be like 70 when their kid is a teenager. It's like, oh, come here, Sonny. I want to pick you up. Crack. So, yeah, this will be a problem. It's been a problem. It continues to be a problem. It may be the reason that they go their separate ways on decision day. We shall see. Anything else specific on them?
No, we can move on to somebody else.
Okay. Decision day, yes or no? Stasha and Nate. Dun, 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 dun.
I'll say yes.
Oh, man, you keep making this so hard for me.
I feel like the allure of let's be a power couple, let's make a ton of money might provide some like glue for them in the short term at least.
Yeah, I can see that. I'll go with yes for now as well. For me, I see Nate being willing to go to therapy as a good sign from the respect of it seems like he perhaps actually wants to make this work, and perhaps has the observational ability to see things that he needs to work on and improve, and that's something that I think is very good for a relationship. So I'm gonna say yes for now as well. Though it's shaky, maybe a little shaky.
Yeah, well, none of these yeses can ever be like not shaky.
Well, where do you want to go next?
Let's do Mitch and Kristen.
The couple everybody loves to hate. Well, specifically, everybody loves to hate Mitch.
Yes, well, he keeps doing stuff, weird stuff, like instead of like a normal plastic bag or container you would put trail mix in, let's give you a weird reusable pouch. It's like...
Well, I don't think the pouch itself was super weird. I think the weirder thing was, didn't he like write a big label on it that said "Don't throw away"?
I guess I missed that. It just... Look, everything about him is like just a step too far. It's very easy to make fun of because it's just so over the top.
He's committed to
the cause,
to how he lives his life, and that is something that it's not something that everybody or just anybody could deal with. So that's the question is Kristen the person who can deal with this? And I would say perhaps that she's probably someone who's better equipped than most.
She's incredibly patient.
It seems like, because despite all of the weirdness and everything, at this point in time, we shall see if things change. We have a lot more episodes left, but as things stand now, they both seem overall quite happy with their relationship.
Which is shocking to me, because I would not be. I mean, she's like so diplomatic. Like even when she's talking with her friend, she's like, there's some differences in our domesticity. Rather than his apartment is horrible. And he's a 41-year-old man who hasn't learned to clean.
Yes, I believe what she said is that they have a different level of clutter.
Yes.
AKA she doesn't have clutter, and then he does. He was just, apparently he's always bringing random stuff home.
I know, like, why? Apparently he's a pack rat. Or a hoarder, perhaps.
Well, yeah, I guess he comes across stuff and he's like, oh man, I might have a use for this someday.
I mean, she said he brought home this antique bookshelf that looked like it came out of a sewer. Like, why? Why would you bring that home?
He is something else. That is very true. And as we've said, yeah, people love just throwing endless shade at him online. Which is, I mean, it's hilarious, but it is also just like, man, this guy, I wonder what he thinks, because you got, like, wherever he is, whether their relationship is successful currently or not, like, you gotta bet he's like at least semi-aware of this stuff. Like,
oh, he has to know. He gets roasted every Wednesday.
Every single Wednesday.
Like, if I were him, I just wouldn't go online anymore. But
I mean, people saying like she should bring him to a landfill, like it's just an endless just barrage of just memes and stuff about how ridiculous he is. But yes, how ridiculous he is ties well into their housewarming party, because I guess they couldn't agree on the theme.
No.
For a bit. And
she wanted French.
Yeah, she was some French.
That would have been more normal, I suppose, compared
but
to
like what is French?
They probably just would have had like French food. Like maybe some French pastries.
I know, that's a little is a little weird to me. I mean, it's not quite as weird as the theme Mitch wanted, which was something about like a combination. What was it? Combination of like the zombie apocalypse
and
communism. What?
I don't understand that at all.
And then she was saying something about his original idea was that he wanted everybody to dress up, and their outfit would be how they thought the world was gonna end. So I don't know, like one person would like dress up as like a mushroom cloud or something. Like I don't know. It's very
too much.
Very strange.
So they eventually settled on retrofuturism, which is an oxymoron in my opinion.
I mean, it's basically just like, we're gonna pretend we're far into the future, but it's gonna like be kind of weird and cool looking, like it's in the past too. Essentially, that like it's like the future if the future came to 1960 or whatever. So he dressed up as a Star Trek, basically. Not too close, because we don't want to get copyright strikes from whatever stupid network that's on. Though I was kind of cracking up because he was wearing a red shirt, which is very, very famous in the show for people who don't survive. Anybody you see a person in an episode or a movie of Star Trek that has a red shirt on, and they are not going to survive, which hopefully is not a little foreshadowing for their relationship. But yeah, man, this was just weird. It was just weird. The costumes, people coming in, and like she was like doing this super weird robot voice all the time, like, welcome to the future.
Well, before they actually got to the party, they had to get stuff for the party.
Oh yeah, we cannot forget to talk about. My goodness.
So Mitch can't go to just any old regular party store.
No, that was so. Oh my goodness.
We have to go to a special party store where it's only reusable, rented items.
It was so just absolutely ridiculous, because he was just so sure of himself, because they're in the car, right? And she's expecting to like go to some regular old party supply store, and he's like, no, we gotta. And it was somebody's specific name, like some dude has like a junkyard, is what I thought was gonna be it, but apparently it's not quite as bad as that. It's just like a party rental place. But he like went into this. He's like, yeah, well, like, why would we go to a place and buy all of this trash when we could go here and get all this cool stuff and then just bring it back?
He just makes everything more difficult than it needs to be.
Yes, that's true. It's very true.
Also, I wanted to mention, because when Kristen had talked to her friend earlier and said she hadn't told Mitch about her previous engagement, and she said it hadn't gone over well. I don't understand why telling someone new that you're dating about how you got cheated on would be a red flag for somebody.
I don't know. People are weird. I don't particularly get it myself. I mean, maybe they hear that and they, like, I don't know. People, in my experience, seeing stuff on the internet, I have learned that apparently a lot of people have weird views regarding other people, specifically, like, I guess I could see people sort of vaguely out there hearing about that and being like, oh, she's damaged. Like that's something that I've like seen out there where people have this super weird view that like people get damaged by things, and you just don't want to deal with that like in your life, like, which is only true insofar as like, yeah, people do get damaged by life as they go through it, but that doesn't change their worth or their, you know, character. Well, it may change their character, but in a positive direction. In fact, so there, I don't know, maybe that, I guess it could possibly be like somebody heard that and they were like, well, this is what you've told me, but maybe you were the one who cheated. Like,
that's so stupid.
Yeah, really, whichever way you slice it, it's pretty stupid.
So she does end up telling Mitch.
Yeah, because her friend was like, yeah, you probably should tell him. Mm-hmm. Which is very true.
It was so funny, though, because when she mentioned that she had spent her entire life savings on this, like, the look of cringe and horror on his face was so funny.
Well, but then even worse than that was she was talking about it, and then she got to the part where because as we all know by now, she took everybody who was supposed to be at the wedding, and they just went to Mexico because it was a destination wedding. So they basically had the wedding, except it obviously wasn't a wedding at that point. It was just the people closest to her hanging out because she had already spent the money. And so she says that they all just went anyway, and except for the groom, and he's just like, that's weird. Which of course immediately like took her out of it, and she's like, I don't think it's weird. And he's like, and like, you know, you can tell he's like, oh no. I made a mistake.
It's just funny, his first instinct.
I know, his first instinct is like, why would you just go to Mexico and have the wedding without the groom?
I mean, she's already spent the money. Like, might as well.
Right. I'm sure though that like he heard that, and in his mind he's thinking about all of the CO2 emissions from the planes getting them to Mexico, and just all the ways that it was unsustainable. But I mean, so I will give him some kudos once he kind of snapped out of the normal Mitch mode. You know, once she got done with that, and he always finds a way to make it weird, because when she finished her spiel, they were sitting there, and he's like, "Can I add my thoughts now?" Just in the weirdest way. And so basically the resolution is that it doesn't change how he views her, how much he respects her. It wasn't her fault, all of that stuff. So he close one. What a close one. But yeah, he supported her in the end, which is good. And I think it was good to have that out there. I'm sure it was something that weighed on her a decent amount that she hadn't told him. So,
yep, all good there.
Thank goodness for that.
So we learned through a flashback that she initially bought plastic containers for Jell-O shots, and we know that's the worst crime she could have committed. So she had to go buy metal ones, which is just weird, I feel like, for Jell-O shots, which cost 20 times more.
Well, because they're little metal. They're not even. I don't think they were even technically shot glasses. I think they were smaller than that.
She had to find something that was sustainable.
Well, no, I guess what I'm saying is, like, when you think of a normal shot glass, I think it's typically a taller container than that. Not that you would put a Jell-O shot in a normal Jell-O container. That's why, like, I think the plastic ones are smaller. So she ended up having to go find smaller metal ones as well. And so now they have 24 metal, which, again,
what else are you going to use those for?
Yeah, and
I feel like that's how he collects a lot of clutter too, because everything has to be used again, but sometimes you need a disposable item.
That is true. And
I laughed so hard when the friends were coming and one of her friends walked in with a coffee for her.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, one of your friends did not get the memo that there is no plastic in the future."
He makes it so easy to make fun of him.
Yes, plastic is banned in the future.
Just think of all the things we're not seeing that he complains about.
Yeah, he is a lot. It's also just, it's funny to me because my response would have been, okay, we don't want to use disposable cups for the Jell-O shots. Let's just not have Jell-O shots. It's really worth all that trying to find workable non-disposable containers. Because here's the other thing, and this is a bit of a hot take, but it's very possible and even likely that getting those containers that they got was less sustainable.
I mean, maybe.
Well, because one, are they really in fact going to use those ever again? Maybe, maybe not. I lean towards probably not. You know, are you really making a difference with these shot glasses? That's my question. And I suspect perhaps not. But, oh boy. The party itself was also just weird. With all the dancing to the low lighting and... yeah.
It looked like they were going for almost a disco type vibe.
Yeah, it was like disco in the past, but the future. Right, because whenever you think of retro futurism, you think disco. Yeah.
So Kristen admits to her friends that his extremism is more than she thought it would be.
No way. Yeah, I'm interested. I think that as of right now, I am more interested to find out sort of the current situation with Mitch and Kristen than I am about any other couple. Just because I think that in a lot of ways, their situation is such a unique set of challenges. Mm-hmm. Unique set of challenges being Mitch. That it's just it's fascinating to me because they both seem to really want to make it work. They seem to be meshing really well despite these tension areas. So I really want to know what happens with them. A lot of these other people, I don't really care that much. And that's just where I am right now. But I want to know, is she able to deal with him long term? Is he able to soften to a small degree and make her life a little bit easier because he cares about her?
It just seems like she's the one doing all the compromise. He's not budging.
At the moment, that does seem to be true. And so in the long term, that would get to be a fair bit annoying and an odious situation. So yeah, I really want to know what's going on. Has he killed the dog? That's
Well, yes,
that's
we
the
learned
other
he's
thing.
not sleeping well because that, like,
Yeah, apparently it comes and gets on the bed and then just lays
yeah.
there snoring. Just like it's. I mean, even Mitch and a couple of his friends. Well, I guess the friend and his brother were inside the apartment, sitting on the couch, and they had the dog with them on the lap, on one of their laps or on the couch, and it was just sitting there, just like just sitting there, not like
I could
that
not
was,
deal with that.
That wasn't even. He was just like, look, see, it's so loud. This, and
Imagine
you
what-
haven't even heard the half of it.
Imagine trying to fall asleep with that in your ear.
I know that would be. Oh, that cracks me up so much.
We also learn his friends are like him as well with this environmental extremism.
I mean, I'm not surprised at all. You kind of surround yourself with people who are like you, so yeah, does not surprise me whatsoever. Well, anything else?
Nope.
All right, Christy, decision day. Kristen and Mitch, yes or no?
Still a no for me.
Still a no. Oh man, they haven't won you over, huh?
Mitch is too much of an obstacle.
Man. Okay. Well, look, I'm gonna keep my yes. I'm still gonna keep my yes for now.
Wow, so hopeful.
Look, I am the last person I thought who would be on board with this, but I've been super surprised with how they've handled things, and maybe we've just seen all the bad stuff from the other couples, and that's eaten up so much screen time that we haven't had a chance to dive quite as deep. But we've had quite a bit of screen time with them, as far as I can tell. So I don't know. I remain cautiously optimistic. I mean, yeah, Mitch is an obstacle. He's kind of annoying, but they seem to be invested in this and seem to have found some sort of cadence and rhythm in their lives, and it seems to be continuing to go well. So, yeah, still yes from me for now.
Who would you like to talk about next?
Oh, boy. Let's talk about Morgan and Binh.
Oh, man,
This continues to just depress me.
Yeah, I don't... They're, like, annoying to watch.
Man, Morgan needs to figure some crap out.
Yeah, she's got to find a way to move on.
Right, and she absolutely refuses to.
Yeah, it's almost like she's doing it on purpose.
Right, I mean, at this point, I think she is. Because that's I think the big reason why it's so hard to watch, at least for me. I don't want to speak for my wonderful co-host, but it's because it's always the same thing. Nothing has happened in their relationship since partway through the honeymoon. That is where they are.
Yeah, they're still stuck there.
They're still there. And so it's still the exact same circumstances. And so it's like, why are we even seeing these people? Like, you've given me zero indication or hope that Morgan is gonna start making some different decisions in her life and actually allow this to be a relationship.
Yeah, I don't get it. She just keeps talking about this wall being up. And Ben's trying to break through, but until she allows him, I feel like they're just stagnant.
Right. There's no chance for any growth or progress unless she allows it. I mean, we constantly get these scenes with him just talking about how he's trying to improve things, how he's trying to make things better and all of this, and how she's just not having it, which I did want to note because we see Binh have a conversation with one of his friends as they work out, and I was just noting again, Binh shakes his head constantly when he's having a conversation. I think it's maybe subconsciously he wants to make sure that whoever he's talking to knows that he's engaged, but he's always like up and down with his head just all the time. I just wanted to say that. Not important, but there you go. Yeah, she oh man, come on, Morgan. Let this man be a part of your life.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? If you don't let him through, what's the point of any of this?
Right, and how I mean, essentially, it boils down to how long are you going to punish him for this?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was like he can't change what he did. And
No.
she keeps also mentioning, like, he hurt me so deeply. Which, like, this whole thing started with you, like, maybe lying, maybe not on your application. Like, we don't even know. I feel like that's all still kind of fuzzy.
Right, and so that's the other thing that grates on me a bit is that whatever his flaws, because he's not perfect, even though he has a perfect body and, is perfectly frugal, is that he said as much. He's apologized to everyone repeatedly, and he, at least in my opinion, hasn't seemed to try to minimize his role in what happened. Like he's been very forthcoming about how he was harsh on her, and he made some judgments of her and didn't treat her charitably, and just like was dumb and went to Justin instead of talking to his wife about it. Like he's admitted to all of that, and he doesn't seem to sugarcoat that. But whenever she talks about it, it's always been just hurt me so deeply. Binh just betrayed me, and it's all this like very hostile language, which if you're in a relationship with somebody, you can't be enemies. That's just it's not how that works. It's not sustainable.
Yeah, even when the friends all came over, like, that was so awkward with, like, Binh trying not to reveal all their relationship troubles in front of everyone, and then Morgan just kind of, like, digging in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, well, you don't want to, I see you don't want to talk about it. It's like...
No, he doesn't, because he's talked to literally everybody about
there's
it.
nothing left to say at this point.
No, there's zero left. And so, look, I know that she has experienced emotional trauma in her life, particularly with her dad. But when push comes to shove, you have to make a choice. You have to make that choice to actually engage in the relationship. You have to make the choice to let somebody be in your life versus just choosing to be in this incredible... It just seems like she's in such a hostile headspace. And, I mean, she keeps saying this, but talking about how if you hurt me, we're done. Like, that is her. It's like, but if you're in a relationship with somebody, if you get married to somebody, if you're actually vulnerable with that person, they're going to hurt you. That just happens. Because people are stupid. It's inevitable. So you're really going to throw everything out the first moment you get hurt. It just that hurts my feelings.
Yeah, very unrealistic view of marriage.
Right. I mean, and her friend that she was on the Zoom call with, as he was in his car driving around initially, but it seemed like he parked after the first sec. I mean, he told her as much. She's like, come on, like, you have to let this go.
It's almost like the visit with Pastor Kyle didn't have any effect on her at all.
No, it hadn't.
From last week.
No, it had no effect at all.
I
Zero.
don't understand. The holdup is Morgan and nobody else.
Yeah.
I mean, even when she talked with his friend, she had to recount the entire nurse drama all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And they even asked her, will she hold it over him till he dies?
Yeah. And the look in her eyes said yes.
I don't get it.
Oh, man.
I did laugh, though, when Ben was buying the tequila for the party and he asked for great value tequila.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want that expensive stuff. Yes, because I guess we should mention this. Their party theme was tequila and tacos.
I totally didn't catch what their theme was.
Well, it was not so much a theme as just what they were eating and drinking. This is probably the most minimalist theme of all, but yeah. Oh man. You know, because it seems like he has tried to set things right and tried to show her that like he cares about her and that he is, living differently and all that stuff. But no, I mean, that's really like that is the state of their relationship until she decides otherwise. That's really all there is to say about it.
Yep. I think they're a no for me at the moment.
Wait, you think on decision day they're gonna go their separate ways?
It's not looking good.
Yeah, it's a no for me as well, which is sad because I liked them initially.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at the beginning we didn't really know much about them at all because he had COVID and everything.
No, they were behind a little bit, and apparently they're still behind. It's just it's also it's a little sad as well because you look at Ben and Morgan compared to, say, Mitch and Kristen, and it's like Mitch and Kristen had an awful honeymoon. Like it, I mean, I don't want to rehash all of it, but I mean, Mitch telling her that he was not attracted to her was a pretty big thing, unsurprisingly, and so that honeymoon did not go very well. But it seems like in a lot of ways, they left that honeymoon in Mexico and made the choice to move forward with their lives and their relationship and actually do their best to make things work.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Morgan just, everybody I meet will know that you betrayed me. Every single person. Yeah, I want to, like, she probably talks about this to, like, she's in the grocery store getting checked out and she's like, so I married this guy, Binh, and on our honeymoon, he betrayed me. And I will never forgive him. That's how it feels like. Is she just tells every single person.
Yeah, she just looks really unhappy as well.
Right.
She's just miserable.
Look, I would be unhappy if I was her. She's been hurt, and she has been holding that inside of herself in terms of not dealing with it, not resolving it for, probably over 2 weeks now. Like it's like she has, some tumor or something that needs to be removed. Like it's a toxic thing. And so, yeah, she's visibly very unhappy looking.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that situation gets better, and next week we can say yes to decision day, but I wouldn't count on it, unfortunately. I wouldn't count on it. Well, how about Lindy and Miguel?
Yeah, we first start with Miguel ping-ponging with his friend.
Mm-hmm. Which, did you notice this? I wasn't sure if I was crazy or not, but so they were playing ping pong in an outdoor courtyard thing, and I don't know where that was, but it looked like, so there was kind of a storefront behind them or something. It looked like there was somebody who maybe wasn't associated with Married at First Sight, who saw that things were getting filmed, was interested, because they were doing the ping pong thing, and you kept seeing him like there's a glass door. This person was like standing there looking through at them, and then he would like go away and then come back.
I didn't see it.
I don't know.
That's funny though.
That's a little tidbit that could have been totally my imagination. Maybe he was part of the production, but it was just kind of funny to me. But yeah, so ping pong with his friend. I know, it's just, I still get a weird vibe from Miguel.
A little bit. They're just different people.
Yeah, very different people. I guess she's younger than him. I didn't think it was a huge gap, but...
I didn't think so either, but the friend was worried about her being too young to fit in with the group.
God, yeah, I don't want her to be too young to fit in with the Dungeons and Dragons group.
But Miguel assures him that she has depth and she's not too young.
Yeah.
And then he keeps doing stuff like this, which is just weird, because he says, oh, she's an oasis in the desert, but then like a second later is like, watch us get divorced on decision day, just putting that bad energy out into the universe.
Well, personally, I don't really believe in that whole putting energy out into the universe, but it is weird that it's like he's always hedging his bets, almost like, okay, whatever happens, I can say, yeah, like deep down, I knew this was going to happen. Whether it's they get divorced on decision day or that they continue to live their lives together, Yeah, just a little strange to me, but yeah, so it's party time. What did you think of their theme?
The theme was contestants on a game show, but people just came dressed up as like random things. I was confused about the connection between those.
Yeah, we got
Miguel is a pimp.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Pimp Miguel.
Well, because they see pimps on a game show.
No, see, that's what you were saying. Like, I think the theme sort of took a turn. Because I don't know if this was, it looked like it was sort of a thrift shop or maybe just like a costume store. So I think what happened is they decided on a theme, and then he found that cane with the skull on it, and then things went from there. Yeah, so they played the newlywed game.
Yeah, they seem to know each other pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was also kind of when Lindy was having the conversation with her friend, talking about it, she's like, so I just wanted to ask you, like, do you really think Miguel's that funny? Because I see you, like, he'll say something and you just, like, start laughing. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't think he's that funny. And she claims that she does find him that funny, but despite that, I do think that there is an element of awkwardness, which is why she laughs so much. I think it's partially influenced by, oh, I feel a bit uncomfortable by this situation. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, it's like a defense mechanism.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. Oh man.
When Miguel was chatting with Lindy's friends, did you catch this deep darkies thing?
Yeah, that was
weird. real cringe. Like when they tell each other important stuff, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess his point was that their relationship isn't superficial. And
yeah, so it's like everything has to have a cutesy name.
So he was talking about, like we've, as great friends, like we've shared our things, and Lindy and I, we've shared our deep darkies too. Oh, that was weird.
Also, when he was saying there's nothing she doesn't know, and the friend says, like, under her breath, there's always something.
Oh boy. Hopefully Miguel doesn't have something super terrible. I mean, I feel like there's enough on the surface that's a little like, meh. Thank goodness I'm not married to him.
And then, like, this took a turn.
Mm-hmm,
when Lindy talked with his friends. I guess she's just spilling all of their relationship drama.
Well, you got it. It's exposition.
So apparently Miguel wants her to take his last name.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't want to do that without certain check marks in place. To start off with, she doesn't have health care. Which, how does she not have that being a doctor?
Well, she's a physical therapist.
Yeah.
Which
is in the medical field.
Right. I don't want to. I didn't want that to sound like a dig against physical therapists. Because physical therapists are great, and I would be a complete disaster without them. But, that is very strange because, yeah, being in the medical profession, but also, and maybe it's just because I know she was talking about how she has set herself up to be like super flexible. So maybe with her work situation and how much she works, she doesn't qualify for benefits from whatever PT place she works at, perhaps. Like,
yeah, but like you can go to the marketplace, like,
right. That is very
what
true.
What is she doing when she has to go to the doctor? Or
some people just don't go to the doctor. I don't think you realize how much some people avoid healthcare. Like there are people, I'm sure we know people and are friends with people or have relatives who haven't been to a doctor in like a decade.
Oh, well.
But yeah, it is a little strange about the health insurance piece because, and maybe it's just the sort of thing where she doesn't qualify at work because she doesn't work enough hours, and then simultaneously she also makes too much to get a good rate on the marketplace, perhaps. Like maybe that's a combination. I don't know. But yeah, she wants certain things to feel secure enough in this relationship to actually take his last name, which I don't know. I don't think that that's necessarily super unreasonable.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's like if you don't know if you're going to actually stay married to him, there's no need to change your last name yet.
Right. And as far as the health insurance piece, we're talking about getting on his health insurance. I really, I don't know. I don't know how much it would change his premiums and stuff.
That's what I was wondering, because she says he has it for his spouse, so I wasn't sure if like it wouldn't be an additional charge or maybe it would double or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because typically you can have spouses on your insurance plan. Now, whether the cost involved with the plan changes a lot, I don't know. It may be just that with his job, he has spousal benefits as well, that they don't change it.
I mean, even if it did cost more, she could just foot the difference.
Right.
So
and it's
shouldn't be a big deal.
Right, unless it was really adding her to his health insurance would be a lot of extra cost, and she just like couldn't afford it. Because he has talked about how he's not going to be her sugar daddy. Which again, it's just a weird environment, because I do get like wanting your spouse to have the same last name, but it is also just, these are extenuating circumstances. So you're really going to make her go through all of the hoops, with the Social Security Administration and the DMV and your bank accounts and your insurance, your car insurance, like just every little hoop to do this. I guess that's my point, is that it's way more difficult, at least how I see it, to expect her to do that at this point, especially because she talked about too, she has all these professional credentials, right? Like she has all this education, and so that's like her identity to a degree. And so you do see that where sometimes, and I mean it's usually women, because women are typically the ones changing their names, but where women don't want to change their name, or they'll change it legally but not professionally, because you've like gotten your doctorate, you're like in your field, you're known as whomever, and so it's tough. Versus it seems like it's not that difficult, right? Because with insurance, it's qualifying life events, so marriage is a qualifying life event, so add her to the insurance, and if you get divorced, well, I'm pretty sure that's another freaking qualifying life event, and remove her.
I didn't like the fact that he was like doing like a tit for tat, like, oh well, unless you take my last name, I'm not going to stick you on my insurance.
Right, and it did seem, because she said as much, it did seem like he was holding it over her, which is not great, especially like, I know in my opinion, he should want to take care of her, and like her not having insurance, that's bad.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Like, hello, forever bankruptcy. If something bad happens, like there can always be something bad that happens with health. So
you don't want to take that chance.
No. I also, oh man, this is, sometimes you see that dark side of Miguel. So they had the conversation in bed about the whole, she's not feeling comfortable, she needs to feel more secure and safe in order to feel willing to take his last name and all of this, and he's just like, he looks at her, I don't like this version of you. It was a very villainous type of line.
Yeah, it was a little sinister.
Yeah.
Because, like, she talked about wanting a joint account and, like, a plan of where they'll move. And he's like, well, you want to do all this married couple stuff, but you won't take my last name?
I guess my point is that a lot of the time, the marriage, like the name taking gets delayed for a while anyways. That's what I'm saying is it's just weird for him to hold that over her when a lot of the time people end up waiting a while to legally change the name anyway. Because it's super annoying to do. And so many boxes to check in order to get that done. You know, I know people who haven't done the name change for like a year. Like
it's an annoying process.
Right, it's an annoying process, but also like, and I'm not going to name these friends, but I have friends who went out of the country to study, like to do their master's degree, gotten married before, but because of all the flight stuff and passports and, you know, being unsure of how long things were going to take from various agencies to get everything completely done and all of this, they just waited to change the name till after they got back. Because who cares?
It's not that big of a deal.
Right. You're married. Like, you get it done eventually. Whatever. Ugh.
Yeah, I think his whole I don't like this version of you is kind of because it's like, how do you expect me to take your last name if you won't put me on your insurance? So.
Well, I think her point is that, and, you know, she does kind of spiral a lot of the time, but I think her point is like she wants to actually feel like she's his wife before she goes ahead and does that.
Especially when he keeps making all these little digs about the 8 weeks and all that. Like, that's not very reassuring. Like, oh yeah, I'll take your last name, but you're gonna dump me in 6 weeks from now.
No, I would feel, if I was Lindy right now, I would feel so freaking insecure.
Yeah.
Because,
I just don't think this whole last name thing should have even been a conversation really until after decision day. It's like, what's the point? Yeah.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, she is without health insurance currently. This is a little more pressing.
Maybe a little bit.
But he actually agrees to put her on his insurance at the end of the episode.
Yes, this was sort of post their group conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I go back and forth, but I think I've landed on, I think he does care about her. I just think there's a lot of layers of nonsense that he has over that a lot of the time, and a lot of, I don't know, it's not necessarily immaturity, it's just a totally different perspective on life, and so he can kind of get caught up in sort of the theoretical of how he views things and how he thinks things should go versus just caring about her.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to make of them at the moment.
Oh, well, Christy, I'm going to ask again. Decision day, yes or no?
Man, I don't know. Okay, I'll say yes for now. I don't even know. They're so inconsistent to me.
Yeah, they do go hot and cold to a degree. I'm gonna say yes as well for now, and I think the reason for that is Lindy seems to be putting up with less. And I do think that that's a good sign. I think she's still very obviously like really wants this to work and wants it, but it seems like she's not quite as willing to just do whatever it takes to keep waves from happening anymore.
Yeah, she's standing up for herself.
Yeah, she seems to have reached a place where she's like, no, I need you to actually consider me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's it. That's a good sign. Plus, I mean, and maybe this is just to appease, but, you know, I think putting her on his insurance, being willing to do that, and him coming around to that, I think is hopefully a good sign that at the end of the day, he can stop his nonsense and actually care about her. So I'm going to say yes, a soft yes. Well, Christy, we have one more couple left.
Man, I guess we got to talk about that.
Yep. The original Shining Stars. Oh, how far they have fallen. That's right. We're talking about Alexis and Justin.
These two are exhausting.
Yeah, talk about a couple who has gotten wrapped up in their BS.
Yeah, it's all very internal. We see her talking with her sister. And she's like, you know, your nephew got injured.
Man, I'm sorry to pet lovers everywhere, but that is so cringy to me to refer to a pet as your relative. That really,
It's so strange.
I don't understand that at all. Maybe one day we'll have a guest and we can talk about this from the perspective of somebody who does view pets as relatives. But yeah, man, this is so weird. Oh,
We also learn if the dog training doesn't work, the dog will go live with his best friend.
mm-hmm. Which look, that is a more sane option than just going completely nuclear. Now, from our perspectives, you know, the quote-unquote nuclear option isn't so terrible because it's like, well, marriage is more important than a dog. But from their perspective, I would say this is definitely a more sane option. I also, yeah, her sister was just trying to, I think, communicate to her that she needs to be a bit more open and forgiving, I guess, like not just close her eyes and be completely like unaware if things are going poorly or if there are big red flags, but to actually like make an effort to maintain an even keel, which as we see just did not happen.
She also reveals that they have said I love you to each other, but she's not in love with him. Like, what is the difference there?
I honestly don't know.
Okay, so then if you're not in love with him, don't say I love you then, is my opinion.
Well, unfortunately, Christy, our opinions don't matter.
No, it's just weird to hear that. It's like, are you or are you not then?
I don't know. So things spiral really quickly here.
Yeah, you know it's bad when you get that like camera footage of the camera that's like mounted in the kitchen or whatever in the living room, but not actual camera people.
Right, and also the fact that they're like on the opposite side of the apartment because they're trying presumably not to be overheard, maybe. Or just, I guess maybe that's just where the argument happened. But it was like as far away from the camera as possible, and you can still hear them because they're just like yelling at each other.
I know. Apparently her dog was throwing up blood and not eating for 2 days.
Yeah, so I'm so confused here because I thought they were living together. So how does she not know
I was confused about that too.
that the dog hasn't eaten?
Unless he was just feeding it, like when she wasn't like in the room or whatever, and just totally hid the blood and everything. I don't know. I don't understand why he didn't say anything to her. Like, I understood where she was upset, like, how is this happening and you don't tell me, but also, how did she not know?
I mean, I guess maybe it's just because we've talked about before how he was sort of going to be a house husband, right? Because he works from home.
Oh,
and
maybe
then
she was at work.
And she doesn't, so maybe she's just at work.
And he's like, oh, I'll take care of it myself.
Right, which, like, I get that instinct, but it is also weird that, like, you wouldn't say something. Also, like, why the frick is her dog throwing up blood?
I don't know. That seems to be separate from the eye incident.
Right, exactly.
So I'm not sure what's happening there.
Honestly, this dog seems super fragile and kind of gross. Like, why does she even have it? That's the thing. Like, pets can be so expensive.
Imagine what their marriage would be like if they didn't have pets.
Exactly. Everything would still be amazing. But no.
These dogs are ruining them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and look, I get her being upset here because it is weird to just be like, oh, I'll just handle this. It's like, well, you haven't been married for very long. Maybe there probably are health conditions that this stupid little dog has that he doesn't know about.
Yeah, and there was just a ton of yelling. I mean, we heard stuff like, you sell me false dreams every day. What does that mean?
I think she was probably referring to the fact that he talks a big game in terms of relationship stuff, whether it's just the constant, like, oh, I love you, babe, or the, like, oh, this is how I'm going to do things. Oh, I'm going to over communicate. Like, you're going to be so sick of hearing from me, all of that different stuff. And then doesn't follow through very well.
Yeah, it seems like they're stuck with this whole, like, Justin's like, well, I didn't think that was relevant. And she's like, no, everything is relevant. Like, tell me everything.
I mean, I don't know that everything is relevant, but it's not super helpful to not share. And so, I don't know. I'm kind of stuck between their perspectives because I do get that it probably does seem manipulative or at least an intentional, all that vagueness. I'm not sure that it is. I think it's possible that he's so tall that his head is in the clouds from the perspective of just, I don't know. He seems like the kind of person who could just live his life and just be like, oh, this is just happening. And, like, I don't know, it seems like a lot of the time other people just don't really exist, perhaps. Like, it's just, it would never occur to him to say something about this or that. So I'm kind of stuck between those two. And both are bad. Because you do actually have to communicate with your spouse. That is a thing.
Well, it is not happening right now. I mean, they're, like, really upset with each other. She goes to the party store. He finally joins. And then here's a whole nother argument, yelling match.
Basically, my notes for them are boiled down to, okay, they have massive fight. Then next sentence, they continue the fight in new location. Next sentence, here we are in another place. The fight is still happening.
Yeah, he also said that she gets aroused out of moments like this.
Yeah, that, like, she feeds on the drama, which I don't necessarily think that's wrong totally.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think I don't think to the extent that he meant it. And maybe I'm just misreading things, but it does seem like she lets herself kind of spiral pretty easily, and likes to make kind of definitive judgments about things, and then kind of run with that emotionally.
Yeah.
So maybe it doesn't go to the extent of kind of.
I don't think she enjoys it though.
Well, and again, like, I don't know if saying that really means like enjoyment as you'd think of enjoyment, but like, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell with these people. It's really hard to tell.
But yeah, she eventually ends up storming out. She says, I can't communicate with this hostility, and then asks to be unmiked.
I know. Which, I'm surprised we got to the store without you talking about her outfit.
Oh yeah, I didn't like the onesie.
It was like a light blue onesie.
Yeah, I don't think onesies on adults are super flattering. Sorry.
Really? Really? Wow. Yeah, it was funny to me how she's clearly angry, and like, I don't think this housewarming party is even gonna happen, but I'm just gonna prepare it anyways. As she's like,
I know, what a great attitude.
Getting, what was their party even?
I don't know, because when people got there, she's like, yeah, we failed to tell everyone the theme.
I guess I think it was like 80s.
Yeah, both she and Justin were wearing like
which is why
weird clothes.
She was buying classic candy. I think that's what the store they were in. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a candy store.
Yeah. So, yeah, and as I said, house party, the fight continues.
I know, in front of all their friends. Mm-hmm. It's like, we just have to drag our dirty laundry out in front of everyone. It's just like, yeah, I didn't want to be fake and act like everything is good.
See, this moment, is maybe a point in favor of like that she does get some form of pleasure out of all of this, because like there are various ways to play this, and that is a very specific way. Like, you don't have to be fake and pretend everything is fine, but you also don't have to resume the active fight,
That's true. She didn't have to do the most with this.
Yeah, there's just, I feel like these two are kind of in a loop like Morgan and Binh are, where this is the problem. He doesn't communicate very well, whether that's intentional or just because he's an idiot, and she takes that personally and has a hard time not seeing that as like being manipulative or as just being a liar, and around we go.
Yeah, but who's gonna break the cycle?
I don't know. I don't know if they will break the cycle. I mean, their friends tried to
give
advice and get them out of it, but
I still thought it was interesting that his friend was trying to like make an excuse for Justin not always saying stuff, and he's like, yeah, guys don't always like think of stuff to say beforehand in the moment. Sometimes we think of it after. Is that true?
I mean, I don't think I can speak for all guys, but I don't know. I think it's just a human thing. It's like you're talking to someone and you just like, sometimes it doesn't feel like it's worth the energy to like mention something.
Yeah, I think Alexis is making it out to be a lot more sinister than it is when something is not mentioned.
Right.
It's like this intentional withholding, I'm going to screw you over kind of thing.
I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, it's hard to know what Justin's motivations are, but I would go to idiot before malicious.
Yeah.
At least until we see more of the otherwise. I mean, I get where she's coming from, because it doesn't feel good to like be in a position where you feel like you're not getting the full picture.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's because it does. I'm not gonna totally discount her, because it does seem likely that it's to an extent that it does make her question more. Like I don't think that she's crazy. I don't think that this is coming from nowhere. So I do think that the vagueness is to an extent where it's probably not fully just insecurity to be there and wonder, like, is there just all this stuff that he doesn't care to tell me? But that's my current opinion. We shall see if things change. I don't know. I don't know, but they're in a bad place right now.
I think I'm a no on them.
Yeah. I was so optimistic earlier this season. I was so optimistic, and here we are saying I'm going to go with no as well.
What a shame.
It makes me almost shed a tear. I thought they were the survivors. But I guess we will see if they come around. It just, at this point, I'm questioning if they even make it to decision day. Cuz that happens sometimes, right?
Yeah, so every once in a while. We did learn a couple more tidbits from when the ladies chatted with each other.
Yeah, let's talk about the group tidbits.
Apparently, Justin is like, "Can I give you a kiss on the toilet?" to Alexis.
Well, he likes to be around her all the time.
You know, you can let your wife poop in peace, in my opinion.
Look, I know you have very, very, very strong views on the matter.
Not every moment needs to be shared.
I mean, I'm not somebody who thinks it's particularly necessary to like make out while one party is on the toilet. I mean, I probably don't care a whole lot about like, it's like, oh, spouse is going to the bathroom. Who cares? I can be there at the same time. It doesn't matter. But some people really like to stay mysterious.
It's not mysterious.
Or is it?
It's just privacy.
I don't know. It's just, I don't particularly care that much, but yeah, I mean.
And then we also learn Kristen and Mitch are like doing it morning, noon, and night.
Well, yeah. Once they got through their issues of Mitch not being physically attracted to her.
We never revisited that either. I guess that has been fixed.
Well, yeah. How she handled it made her way more attractive.
Oh, that's right. Well.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to have worked things out. Again, like, I don't think it was ever truly that he didn't find her attractive or that he wasn't attracted. Like, I think him not being attracted to her was all in his head from the perspective of him just being so stressed out and tightly wound that he was like, oh, it's just, I couldn't possibly be attracted to her. When it's like, well, maybe actually you're just so freaking out that you've tanked your libido and ability to find a person attractive.
Well, it's good they have fixed that issue then.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's understandable, but it's still super weird to me that whenever they get together, they're always like, oh yeah, like, like, are you doing it? Am I doing it? Are they doing it?
Producers make them ask that. They
It's just
wouldn't do that otherwise.
It's just so uncomfortable.
It is. Because we learn nothing has happened with Justin and Alexis in that regard, and nothing technically for Nate.
Well, that's not true. They haven't had full-blown sex, but they've had sex, okay?
Well, that's why I said technically. Because apparently he still says that isn't consummation.
I don't know if I agree with that.
That's a whole other discussion, I guess. But
yeah, let's not have that.
No.
Please.
We also learned that Kristen's dog snores like a, quote, fat old guy.
Yeah, which apparently pet issues are not only in Mitch and Kristen's relationship, because apparently Binh is allergic to Morgan's cat.
That's fun.
Miguel isn't actually allergic, I guess, but because doesn't Lindy have a cat, or am I totally...
Yeah.
But the cat doesn't like him.
These pets are just ruining everything.
Yes, between the pug snoring in Mitch and Kristen's relationship, the Binh being allergic to Morgan's cats,
the dog fighting,
a lot of rough seas as far as pets are concerned here.
There was one couple last season, the Lindsay and Mark couple. They had 5 cats between them.
Why? Why is that necessary? Well, oh my goodness. Let's not talk anymore about cats, please. So, anything else that we need to talk about here?
Oh, that was all I had.
Okay, well, wow. Geez, eight episodes, and things are rocky for some people. Freaking rocky.
Another entertaining episode.
Yeah, this has generally been pretty entertaining. It's been quite the ride for us here. Christy, I gotta do it. How can people get in contact with us?
You can email us at groupdatespod@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram and Twitter at groupdatespodcast.
Mm-hmm. And we will see your email because our inbox is super clean, unlike Mitch's terrible, horrific apartment.